finished A Court of Mr. Fury last night and it was so good. It was so good. Book in this series of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I love Sarah J. Maas. Love her as an author. I'm giving it 4.5, okay? 4.5 stars. That's 1.5 stars more than what I gave A Court of Thorns and Roses. I can do the math because if you watch my book talk about that first book in this series, which you can click over here somewhere, right around here. If you saw that book talk, you know I wasn't completely thrilled with it. It was promising, it was enjoyable, and I knew that the next book could be better. And this, they gave us better. Huge, enormous, massive chunk of this book is getting history of the Night Court, getting history between characters. It's just backstory, it's world building, and it is phenomenal. This is what I felt the first book was lacking. I wanted to know more about it. The first book fell short with that. It gave us everything we wanted, and it's so dang good. If you have not read this book, please read this book. If you were like me and you thought A Court of Thorns and Roses was just okay, trust me, read the second one because it is amazing. So good. Now, I want to get into the spoilery section. I want to talk about the book and I want to discuss it with you guys. So let's do that right now. If you haven't finished reading this book, go and read it. You won't regret it. Come back and watch this book talk. Until then, bye. Okay, so A Court of Mr. Fury, I just don't know where to start. This is a warning that this talk is going to be just all over the place, so try to follow along because I don't know where to go, okay? Feyre, in the last book, she was turned into a fae, and I knew she would have powers, but I had no idea that she would be that powerful. That was such an unexpected turn for me. I didn't think that she would have all of the high fae's powers. Like, she can do almost anything. I love that she didn't start off like super already awesome. Like, she had to figure out and learn her way, and she's still honing in on her talents, and it's just so believable and it's so rich. She's so badass. That scene where she's fighting with the water wolves running behind her, she just and then they turn and transform into the birds and they're like killing all the Autor. And I picture her and Armin as being super strong females when they attack the city of Valaris and they're trying to fight off King Hybern's men. They hear the thunder in the background because of Armin. I just totally pictured Dragon Ball Z Gohan like, ah. That's the kind of power I see these women contain. It's so awesome to see that. I always talk about Feyre and Rhysand just having this little play banter. I love their relationship, by the way. But they always say that Feyre gives him a vulgar gesture. What is the gesture? What gesture is it? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? What's the gesture? We need to talk about the ships. Not really ships because Tamlin is like dead. Dead to Feyre, dead to me. We need to talk about the ships because if you saw my first book talk of ACOTAR, you know that I didn't really want Feyre and Rhysand together. And it wasn't because I didn't like Rhysand. I really liked Rhysand. He was the most compelling character, most intriguing character, but I didn't like the idea of him with Feyre. He seems to just kind of use and abuse her in the first book. So I totally was not rooting for them to get together. You see them slowly falling for each other. As soon Feyre decides to go clutch and ride with Azriel instead of Rhysand because she imagined him touching her thigh, I said, oh my god, she's falling for it. She is into him. She wants the D. I already knew it was gonna happen. You know it was freaking crazy. We start learning about Rhysand and all of the motives behind the things he did. And this quote right here, oh, I was so pissed at this quote. He licked away my tears when I'd been a moment away from shattering. He'd done it to keep me distracted, to keep me angry, because anger was better than feeling nothing. No, no, he licked away your tears because he was a creep. Or at least that's what I thought when I read the first book. But now here we are in the second book and Sarah's giving you this whole backstory. She just opens Rhysand's mind wide open and we get to see his heart in everything he does, and it just flips my world upside down. Do you like toying with your readers' emotions, Sarah? It just changes the whole world, my whole view, spin things off in a whole new light and make you fall in love with these characters. Do you enjoy doing this to your readers? This is just crazy. This is mind control. You just make us believe what you want us to believe and you make us think what you want us to think, and you have this power. Was anyone else wondering how was Tamlin reacting once he found out Feyre left? She leaves and we knew he was gonna be throwing a fit. We just knew Tamlin was not gonna be okay with that, but we never got to really see how he reacted until the end, of course, and we know, okay, he really overreacted. You're gonna team up with the King of Hybern, but we didn't get to see him throwing a temper tantrum because they always talk about Tamlin throwing temper tantrums. They talk about it so much that it's become comical in my mind. I just picture Tamlin getting pissed off at everything.
What? There's no
Where are my car keys? like a child. And Feyre talks about how Tamlin's just blowing up all the time. Oh my gosh, the little notes between Rysand and Feyre, the ones that disappeared. Oh my god. The mental conversations, they're just so cute together. I want to take a second to talk about Feyre's dreams because she gets the most horrific dreams. But it's also so beautiful to see her struggle. Like, she went through something super traumatic. We get to see the process of getting through that and how Rysand helped with it and how Tamlin did not help with it. We just get to see throughout this whole book Feyre on this road to self-discovery, on this road of healing, and it's just all so real. The ending of chapter 32 when they're at the summer court and Princess Cressida is like low-key threatening to report Feyre to Tamlin. Oh, if he wants you back, we have to give him back to you or risk war ourselves. And it's like, what? They didn't even get married. Like, she dumped him and left him at the altar. Like, she's not even with him. She is not his property. Can she live though? Can she live? Does she have any freedom at all? Running into Lucian in the forest. Yo, that scene. That was the first time we finally get to see Lucian and hear about Tamlin after Feyre had left and she wrote that note, and that was really satisfying. I'm really glad that Feyre stood her ground. She told him how Tamlin failed her, how he failed her, and then she gets all threatened and she grows some wings and she starts kicking booty. Flexing her magical muscles. It was just so dope though, but at the same time I was just like, okay, calm down a little bit, Feyre. Like, Lucian is not our enemy. Like, yes, he's loyal to Tamlin and Tamlin's tripping right now, but don't start a war between the Spring Court. Please don't start a war. We're gonna need everybody together in order to fight King Hybern in the end. I don't know, there's some part of me that just has this like crazy faith in Lucian. And so although he's siding with Tamlin, Tamlin can just drink a tub of bleach, frolic in traffic for all I care, okay? He can die. But Lucian, he was good and he's only trying to be a friend and a loyal member of Tamlin's court. But like, logically, a part of me knows it can go either way. Lucian could stay loyally blind to Tamlin, or he could go with Feyre, especially now that his mate is Elaine. Like, I just feel like in the third book, it's more than likely we're gonna see him team up with Feyre and leave Tamlin. Feyre and Rysand sharing that bed. You horny little bastard. And then when they're in the night quarter, she's sitting on his lap. Your mama taught you better than that. If I wasn't black right now, you would see the blush. You would see the redness. Okay, let me say something real quick, just real quick. I am Christian, okay? I am a very religious person. And as the good Lord has taught me, I try to keep my thoughts on holy things. This book is not helping me. It is not helping me. They finally were mates, banged it out. Rysand talked about how newly mated people are gonna be super tense when it comes to other males looking at their females and other females looking at their males. It's like, Feyre doesn't look that tired, you know, maybe she can give me a ride. That's why I love Cassian. It's so funny. Like, I just love that sense of humor, and it's just, there's so many moments in the book like this where you just like, I just love these characters. The whole entire night court is just so much more fascinating than any characters they show us in the first book, really. My favorite from the night court bunch is Cassian, of course. I just really like him and his story, and I really want him to be with Nesta. And Armin, I really am intrigued by her, like her, this otherworldly being, older than time itself kind of thing. Like, she's just so fascinating to me. Feyre is falling for Rysand, and as I am falling for Rysand, he has been her mate all along. Too adorable. Like, to see that he saw images of her in his dreams, in his life. Like, they kept him going when he was stuck with Amarantha, and she was drawing stars for him and has always been drawn to like the night, and it was just, it was too cute. Sending images to each other before you even met, like seeing that type of bond. I know they didn't reveal this, they didn't say this in the book, but I feel like there's been hinting toward it. Cassian and Nesta are mates. There's something there. Cassian and Nesta. And I totally thought they were going to be mated. I think they are in Cassian's mind. I think it's been revealed to him that he's mated with Nesta. The same way it was revealed to Rysand, but it didn't really click into place until she was Fae. I feel like that's what happened with Cassian. Like, he feels like he's mated to her, but it wasn't until that she comes out of the cauldron that I think he knew. And they just, there's too many parallels in that. Like, she's in pain and he's screaming at her and he can't stop looking at her. And like, I just think they're gonna be such an epic couple, because he's like the super awesome Illyrian fighter, like the best in the world. And then I think Nesta is gonna be one of the strongest Faes. Like, the way they describe stuffing her into the cauldron, she's going down with the fight and she comes back up, and Feyre could just tell that she was stronger, she was different, super strength kind of Fae. And I think her and Cassian are gonna be just like the most powerful beings ever. Okay, Elaine. I was really surprised that Elaine ended up finding a mate in Lucien. It surprised me, especially because they just like, it was just revealed in the way that it was revealed. But I really don't care about Elaine. Like, if anyone was gonna go on the cauldron and die, I was hoping it was gonna be Elaine. Okay, was anyone else reading that whole section with the sisters being shoved into the cauldron thinking like, this is a little more dramatic than it needs to be? I couldn't help but think, you're gonna be an immortal high fae. Like, this is better than your measly little human life. And Feyre, she's just screaming and she's threatening to kill the king because he did this to her sisters. I'm just like, girl, he just gave the Night Court 2 more warriors. Calm your tits. Like, I know the struggle was that they might have died inside. I was kind of hoping that Elaine would have died. Ultimately, they didn't die, and now he kind of did you guys a favor. Calm your tits. What do you guys think? What are your predictions for book 3? I have to admit, I was reading this ending when Feyre decided to pull this little trick and act like she had woken up out of this stupor that Rhysand put on her. Like, when she played that whole little trick, I was so confused reading that. Was I the only one? I had no idea what's going on until Rhysand explained it in the end. I was like, oh, and then I had to go back and reread it. I felt so stupid. It's kind of sad now to know that she's gonna be stuck with Tamlin, stuck with the enemy, and she doesn't really have that mental communication. Queens, these freaking evil queens who I just wanted to slap. They were giving us such a hard time this whole book. What's wrong with them? Thought it was just human stupidity. I have to admit, I did not think they were working with the King of Highburn. They were killing me. And now they're getting this immortal bath, so we're gonna have so many humans that have turned into fae, and I'm wondering, someone has to die. Like, they all can't take this bath and come out alive. Like, some of them have to die. I'm so excited for the 3rd book. I want to see Nesta and Cassian. I want to see Feyre plotting to con him and like working behind his back. And Lucien, he's onto her. He's going to be watching her. Like, this is not going to be an easy task. Super like Games of Thrones. Feyre is just like Marjorie Tyrell, playing the High Sparrow, and I just can't wait to see what Feyre, Tamlin, and Lucien, like what's going to be happening right now. Because when you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you really excited just to see how this all is going to play out, because it just got complicated and all these little couplings and these people being tied together. Like, I'm so excited for the next book, but I'm guessing it won't come out till next year. But in the meantime, there's a ton of other books to read. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. My name is Ashleysayque. This video a like, and I will see you in the next one.